and this is GamerKulture.
So the problem with doing nuisance spurts is that I'm trying to remember how to do the voices. I record on Fridays and it's difficult to remember sometimes. We'll see. Last streams of home, Tahira. There's no one here. Ever this place did remind me of the past. Memories and spirits linger here longer than they should. Spirits? Ooh, spooky spooks, guys. Spooky spooks. Okay.
Ah, yes, the patented Baruti comfort. How I've missed it. You know just how to spook someone, my friend.
Yep.
And you do not have enough faith, Tahira. She's here. Let me show you.
Ooh.
Has anyone seen a rather aggressive and robust woman? Some might call her unnaturally robust. Others say she has much of the Sasquatch about her.
Ooh, what are we gonna do for this? Whoa. Who should this woman be?
Ha ha ha. If the scrawny little man doesn't want to create the world's most pathetic imprint in the earth below, I suggest he chuck his thumb.
Sorry. That's how she sounded when she was laughing, so I'm doing that, okay? Okay?
My dear, did I not say others? I see you as a magnificent pearl, whose rare beauty is only witnessed by those brave enough to plunder your depths.
Please don't be what that means. Such big words from such a tiny man. I'm surprised you got here so soon. Your little legs must make travel difficult.
My little legs? But you are forgetting my most important leg.
Enough. Now is not the time, little man. There are people here I must greet. Gosh, this sexual tension is real here. The hammer and the claw. Broody and Tahira. We got the hammer and the claw. Where's my cool name? Baruti, the Lion of Aveston. There's a cool name. Well met, old friend. We gave you and Talik a word 20 years ago that we would visit your kingdom. The hammer. Well met indeed. It has been too long.
It is to my shame that it was taken
It is to my shame that it has taken circumstances such as these for us to fulfill our pledge. Is this Talik's daughter I see with you?
My name is Tahira.
Salam, Tahira. I looked forward to meeting you. Anyone who is willing to stand up to Talik has the sort of guts I admire. Where is he anyway? I much desire to continue an argument with him. Talik has fallen, Hammer. He was attacked in the light by the invaders. We took them all with him. But took them all with him? A hard old bastard to the day he died. These days are full of woe, my friends. Both of you have my sympathy. Talik was a good man. There are few enough of those amongst the rulers left on this world. He would have enjoyed seeing you both again. What's the situation in town? Has everyone been evacuated? All the buildings were abandoned when we arrived, but there has been a steady stream of refugees passing through all evening. The last were here no more than half an hour ago. Despite our best efforts, the enemy is not far behind us. There aren't many defensive positions between here and Bahrain. We'll have to hold to here as long as we can. We anticipated as much. My women have been barricading the town entrance and preparing some defenses from their archers. Lend me some of your men and we should be able to make short work of what remains. Of course, consider them yours to command. Good, then I'll put back
get back to it. I'm afraid I must borrow the claw. He is a master of short work, though his foul plumage does add a few desperately needed inches.
Does this mean you have use for my longsword?
You'll have to come with me if you want to find out.
Tahira, be quiet. Tahira, Rudy, it has been a pleasure. I will see you both a little later. I have some things to attend to.
Are they?
Almost certainly.
I see. They are quite something.
They both have their failings. They are good people.
Of what I have no doubt, Baruti. Shall we see what awaits us in town?
A fine idea.
They are making short work of the barricades.
Indeed, we will be able to mount a strong defense here. Though I fear it will be a bloody battle.
Every time we fight them, it's bloody, Baruti. At least now we have some allies.
True, they are good friends. The only ones who came to our aid despite our treaties with Babylon and us, Asmara.
I've been wanting to talk to you about that. With Asmara's betrayal, we can no longer hope to make the journey to Babylon, even if we can escape the enemy.
You're right. I have been worrying about it since the Claw delivered the news. There are other mountain roads which lead from the pass, but they all go north. I have not been that way in many years. If the drought and devastation that has struck our kingdom have occurred there as well, then I worry for our ability to defeat anyone who has escaped.
There is nothing we can do about it. Let's just focus on getting to Barraid. That will be no mean feat, given the way the night is unfolding.
You're right, Tahira. You especially should get some sleep. How many consecutive days have you been in the saddle?
This will be the 6th. You're right. It's been a long day already.
If you have the energy before bed, it would do the soldiers good to see you amongst them. I'm sure the Claw and the Hammer would like to talk to you as well.
Must I, Baruti? You keep telling me that my presence will lift people's spirits, but I don't think I see what you mean. I barely understand how the staff works. I'll never be able to walk in the light like my father did.
Not if you have that attitude, girl. Listen to the men speak, Tahira. I think you will be surprised. As for the staff, you're being too hard on yourself. It took your father many years to master its uses. You've had it for less than a day.
Very well. At least there are some stars to sleep under tonight.
You are sure you want to sleep outside? There are plenty of beds in the monastery.
I've never liked that place. I always feel as if I'm being watched when I walk around.
I understand. I spoke truly before. There is something about this place. Ancient memories linger within the stones of these mountains. Their spirits are restless.
I did not take you for a superstitious man, Baruti.
There are many things in this world that I do not understand, Tahira. I trust my instincts. The rest I leave to other people.
That sounds like a wise approach. Good night, Baruti.
Good night. I will wake you when the enemy arrives.
That's great. Alright. So now we're going to do some exploring. I forgot. How do I... Oh, there we go. Nope. We're not sleeping yet. I still have a few things I want to do. Let's talk to Eva. Have you got enough to eat, Eva? No. Yay, Eva. So we got a warrior, women warrior clan. Interesting. Then she charged ahead into battle. You should have seen her, my friend. The light beam from her staff. She felled scores of them by herself. I charged in behind her, her words still ringing in my ears. Do not let fear cage that which you know to be true in your heart. It worked. I beat back my fear, and I came out alive. She is wise beyond her years. The leader we need in these dark times. Ha! His tune has changed. He should have You should have heard him before she arrived. She has got a lot to prove to me. It looks like she has done that, Eunice.
You must stop telling people that, Masad. I will not have anyone speak badly of the princess, and I do not like people knowing that I did so.
Perhaps you shouldn't have said it then. But come, I'm only joking, my friend. She has led us well, and of that there is no doubt. With our new and old friends by our side, I have begun to hope for the future of our people again.
Well said, Masad. Well said.
Aww. Glad I gave you hope. Nothing there. Here?
Did I see a vulture break in that stew?
Yes. Is that the problem?
No, I'm quite fond of vulture, actually. It definitely beats rats or eating our horses.
Ha! You're not wrong about that. My name is Utria.
How would you say that name? Yuntira? Maybe Yutinra?
Pleased to be fighting by your side.
My name is Adula. It's a pleasure to fight by your side, too. How long have you been with the hammer and claw?
5 years. Most Iranians have come of age, join up at least for a year or two.
You must like it to stay so long.
It's an exciting life. Who would not want to fight alongside the claw and hammer? They are legends. It was they who single-handedly held the gates to the commissioner's quarter when the rest of Iran had fallen to the hordes of the Azmara. We saved so many people, Dula, but now we are a nation with no home, so we fight with our heroes and trust them to lead us. Well, what do you think of that?
I think that's amazing, Tira.
Ooh, he likes her. Are you not nearly done with that? I've nearly got it.
Well, we'll be done soon, Claw.
Good. Get yourselves something to eat when you are. I hear it's vulture stew.
Oh, let's go talk to him.
Look who it is, my favorite princess.
You're in good mood, Claw.
And why not? We are alive and free. And also, you're near the hammer.
Yeah, I'm sure that's it. Tell me about Iran. I must confess, Claw, I don't know much about your homeland.
I can't say I'm surprised that Tarek and Baruti did not speak about it with you. Even I find it hard to recall the good times without also remembering the war.
Baruti has told me a lot about the sack of Iran.
Ha! Why doesn't that surprise me? He's always been one to tell the depressing part of the story. I wish you could have seen Iran in its glory, Tahira. It was a happy place. A place where you were free to live the way you wanted to. We were not bound by the ancient laws of the Babylonians or the shadowed memories of the Astral Empire. People have forgotten now, but Iran was a republic. All citizens were considered equal. We had no monarchy, nor any discrimination based on race or gender.
It sounds amazing. I've always thought Avestan would be a better kingdom if all its citizens had a say in its future.
That is why you will make a better ruler than most, Tahira. In my youthful nativity, I considered Iran a beacon of hope, that all people would flock to it in time. Any dreams I had of the world died a long time ago.
Okay, let's ask about the Babylonians. The way you speak about Babylon, it's clear you think poorly of them.
I do, and with good reason.
What did they do to you?
The same thing that they have now done to you. They promised us help and did not deliver on their promise. To understand their betrayal, there are very few things you need to know, Tahira. For as long as any living Iranian can remember,
We had been in conflict with the warlords who ruled the kingdoms along our southern border. In the capital, we'd heard stories of raids, with farm animals stolen, or very occasional rumors of villages being attacked. Mostly, though, the threat of the Iranian army marching south kept them in check. But that began to change. Stories of raiding parties became more frequent, and they were no longer limited to the towns near the border. I was only 16 when this was happening, a junior officer who had come skilled with a blade, but no concept of what it was really like. A report came in that shocked the army into action. One of the border towns had been sacked. The raiders had hacked apart every villager they could find and left them in a pile of limbs at the town entrance. Yikes! In hindsight, it was a warning of what was to come. The raids continued to become more frequent, and each one was more brutal than the last. Finally, my regiment was sent south to get the situation under control. The things I saw down there, Tahira. It was butchery, the likes of which I'm not sure even the enemy we're fighting now could match. We soon learned they were not killing to gain territory, food, or valuables. They were killing because they wanted to, and felt it was their purpose. Sounds horrific. It was. I remember the first man we captured. His arms and legs were dripping with blood from cuts he had given himself. Ugh. We needed to learn about these people, so we tied him up and listened to him speak for hours. He spoke of this world being doomed to die, and of the fall of the Astral Empire, and the end of all things. Most disturbing of all, he spoke of their leader, a man who referred to only as Asmodeus. Yep, we saw him. He told us Asmodeus had given his name to the world to free us from our bodies, so we could become one with the light. He created a death cult, Tahira. The ideas of one man did that? That's terrifying. Most people in this world are followers, Tahira. You must make them follow you, otherwise they will find someone else who may not care for others the way you do. I learned that the hard way. I'm sorry I know I have not answered your question, but I do not wish to think of those people anymore. Of course, Claw, I understand. If you want to hear the rest of the tale, ask the Hammer. She is stronger than I, and will not balk at the telling. Okay, bye. I'll see you later, Claw. Of course, Tahira. Until next time we talk. It's harsh. Okay, let's listen to the rest of the story. How does it look from up there? It looks good. We have just need to fill in the gap, and we should be done. Good. Tahira, I was hoping we'd have a chance to speak. I have to thank you for coming to us, Hammer. There is no need for that. We have not forgotten what your people did for us. Go to her first, and then we'll talk about what I want to learn. I've never seen so many female fighters. They look very experienced, even the younger ones. How long have you been leading them? It must be nearly 20 years now. Wow. When we lost our homeland, Babylon took us in, but we did not want to live off their charity. Our people needed money for food and materials so we could grow our industries again. So you and the Claw started the company? Indeed. We had become quite famous among what was left of our people. The remains of the army joined us, and as did a few Babylonians who were sympathetic to our cause. These days, new to service had become a tradition of Iranian youngsters when they came of age. Is there much work for mercenaries? I would have thought the Babylonian army would be powerful enough to keep the peace. Aha! You vastly overestimate them if you think they ever leave their precious city. There's always a town somewhere that needs protection from bandits, or, failing that, a merchant who will pay well to be escorted to their next destination. Occasionally, if the tribesmen from the south encroach on Babylon's borders, they hire us to drive them away.
It's not a glamorous life, but it's better than begging for charity.
I was speaking to Claw earlier. He was telling me about the war. It sounds horrible. He could not bear to tell me the whole story.
Where did he get up to?
He was telling me about a man with regiment captured, the one who told him about Asmodeus.
Then he did not tell you of the worst part of the story, else you would have mentioned it. The Claw's commander did not have the man killed, as he wanted to bring him back to the capital. He escaped the night and helped one of the soldiers.
He was helped? Why would anyone do that?
That's a good question. He was the first Iranian I know who was seduced by Asmodeus, but he was not the last. While this was going on, I was on an expedition far to the east. We returned to the capital just in time to hear the news that Helm, the largest town south of the capital, had fallen. There were so many refugees in the capital, and it was all the army could do to maintain order in the city. So we sent our requests for our aid to neighboring kingdoms. Queen Delphine of Babylon replied swiftly, telling us she would bring her army and put an end to Asmodeus and his followers. So we waited inside the capital. As it was encircled, it was the perfect trap. He would lay siege to the city of the Babylonians, and the Babylonians would be able to destroy them in one blow. Except the Babylonians never came.
How could they not?
I believe they saw an opportunity to eliminate a rival, and they took it. Things grew dire after that. Every night, those madmen would catapult scores of themselves over the city walls. That's when the attacks began. Our own people started turning on us. I don't know if they really believed Asmodeus' lies or if it had just become too much for them. Not that it matters. By one, we lost control of the city's districts until everyone who had lost their mind sat quaking behind the walls of the commoners' quarter. It was horrible to hear. I still have nights when I wake up in a cold sweat remembering those days.
I cannot imagine, Hammer.
We thought we were done for, but then your father came. I remember seeing the white light of his staff split the night sky and wondering if I was dreaming. Then I heard the horns of the battle cries of your people, and I knew I was not. Your father and Baruti cut a path through the fanatics to the gates of the city. We fought all night to keep the path clear for our people to escape. Many Avestani and Oronian lives were lost that night. But we lived, thanks to Aveston's sacrifice.
Now I understand why people talk of my father the way they do.
He did a great thing to hear. He was already a crotchety bastard back then. I cannot imagine what had to grow up dealing with.
Crotchety is one word for it. Never mind that, Hammer. Please finish your story.
Queen Delphine's brother, Isidore, seized the throne after her and finally marched the Babylonian armies south to destroy Asmodeus and his followers. But when they arrived at the capital, they found only a charred ruin filled with the dead. The fanatics had burnt themselves alive. We had nothing to return to.
I'm so sorry, Hammer.
I fear you, and your people are in the same situation now, Tahira. Rest assured that we will stand by you.
I'll talk to you later, Hammer.
Until then.
Goodness. So it seems like there's some kind of weird thing going on with this guy. I think that's everything. I don't see much else.
Do you hear the wind howling through the houses, Tahira? This is a haunting place.
It's strange to walk among the empty buildings. I half expect to see candlelight each time I look through a window.
Tonight must be the first time your people have not occupied the land for hundreds of years.
Sorry about Mazdak. We've been so confused on Avestan and surviving that I haven't told you how sorry I am about the fate of Mazdak.
Thank you, Tahira. I was saddened by the news, but it has been a long time since I had ties to the kingdom. The last was my mother, and she passed from the world many years ago.
How did you come to serve Avestan?
Your father never told you the story?
No, he didn't. I've heard bits and pieces from a few people, but never the whole tale.
It must have been 30 years ago. Mazdak was ruled by a man known only as the Slave King. Slavery was outlawed in most kingdoms on the continent, but not in Mazdak. Many traders from the lands traveled across the ocean to buy slaves from the city. I was one of the lucky ones. My mother's owner ran a shipyard. When I was old enough, I was put to work there. It was hard work, but it was better than being taken to some far-off kingdom, or worse than taken to the Slave King's palace. I'd been working there for a few years when I started to hear stories of a man who claimed he would depose the Slave King and abolish slavery. No one I knew had met him, but there was a rumor that he was a butcher from the merchants' district. His supporters called him the Butcher of Mazdak. Concerned that he was losing control of the city, the Slave King imposed martial law and started executing any slaves who were caught speaking of freedom. That was the final straw for your grandfather, who had long wanted to end the practice of slavery. He declared war on the Slave King and marched the Avestani army to Mazdak. I was pressed into service as a scavenger. Between battles, I searched the dead on the battlefield for weapons or armor that could still be used. On one of my forays, I found a young Avestani soldier who had been left for dead. He was still breathing, so I picked him up and carried him to the Avestani lines. He was your father.
So you joined the Avestani army after that?
Indeed. Your grandfather made me a royal guard.
What happened to the Slave King?
He had a simple death in the end. While the army was out fighting the war, the Butcher of Mazdak led a rebellion and took control of the city. The Slave King found himself caught between the walls of his city and the Avestani army. Most of his force chose to surrender, but he did not. Your grandfather challenged him to single combat and took only minutes to cut him down.
You're right about this place. It's strange here. The air feels suffocating. I wish I knew more of its history. Father was always very dismissive of it, but I feel like I should understand our history.
I'm afraid I can't be of much help. As you already know, the land here is your people's ancestral homeland. They lived here long before the Babylonians ever crossed the mountains.
I wonder what it was like back then.
You have only to look at the monastery to get some ideas. I've heard a few stories of the monks who studied here. Some say they were masters of the light.
Would they say you were still here so they could teach me their ways?
Your father once told me that the barbarian tribes used to come here once a year on a pilgrimage. That was before the Babylonians drove them away, of course.
They seem angry at us for that.
They saw it as a betrayal, but our ancestors had the choice of allying with the Babylonians or being driven from the land just as the barbarians were.
I don't see how that is so different to what is happening now, Baruti.
No, I suppose it isn't. But to carry a grudge for 300 years, that is a poisonous thing. At some point, you must accept the wrongs of the past and move on.
That's easy to say when you're not the one who was wronged. I'm going to talk to a few more people, Baruti.
Of course, Tahira. I'll see you later.
So I don't see very much else I can do. Can I go inside? I don't see how I can go inside.
I'm looking, just in case. Looks like that's blocked. Can't do anything there.
Baruti tells me that you've been in the saddle for 6 days. You should get some sleep. Okay, so I guess it's time to sleep. I think I got everything. Mind if I join you, Eva?
Sorry, that was me.
If you heard that. Father?
Whoa. Oh, we're chasing a spirit! I'm going here. Bye! No, I'm kidding. Go to the spirit!
Okay, now I can go inside. Thank you. That's what I wanted to do before. Where did he go? Ooh, that looks interesting. The owl lives in darkness, but is not consumed by it. She opens her eyes and sees light all around. The forest grows and the fire consumes it. This is a natural balance, creation of destruction, light and the dark. I can't pronounce that name. It's like Disli. I'll try. It was like I cannot. La Mahi Dilsek. I'll call it Dilsek. To find the light within yourself, you must first accept the darkness. Only then will you have balance. Ooh, we're doing the balance thing. I've heard about that a lot. It's in a lot of different things. It's in Star Wars. It's in Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's in a lot. It's in Kingdom Hearts. So many different stories have this balance of light and dark. If you don't have one, you can't have the other. And if they're out of balance, then the world tries to keep it in balance. Decay is an inevitable part of life, except that all things must end, for without endings, we have no beginnings. The owl does not impose her views on others. Instead, she seeks balance within herself. An ideology in its purest form is one that does not judge, it simply is. A mind that rejects new ideas and perspectives is not balanced. An unbalanced mind cannot grasp the mysterious energy that moves constellations. Ooh, this one seems very important. Okay, these seem very important. There's nothing to fear in the unknown. It is an opportunity for discovery. Once you have balance, you will find the conviction to walk in the light. If you open yourself to the cosmic swirl, you will see the light and understand that it is part of you. Whoa. Whoa. Anything over here? Okay, I guess we're doing it. Brightness falls, but I do not try to grasp it. Instead, I look closely and try to discern the hand which guides it. Who's that? Mistake. You have come to see me once again, Tahira. Once again? Say who you are. I don't know what you're talking about. I've never seen you before. Who are you? Then you do not remember me. That is disappointing, but not surprising. Step forward and let us speak together once again. You didn't answer my question. I am the stuttering heart of a moribund people, and you, Tahira, are the flame that flickers defiantly in the face of death. I have been called many things. For whatever good it will do you, you may call me Esmail Khalid. A flame flickering, lost in the dark. I have dreamt of that in my darkest dreams. How do you know of it? The world spins, and we spin with it. We have had this conversation before, Tahira, but now we are running out of time. I will ask you once again, are you afraid? Yes. My father and my friends are dead. An army wishes to destroy all that is left of my people. Grateful people who do not realize that they should be angry with me for abandoning them. How could I not be afraid? You have grown wiser since the last time we spoke. For the first time, your eyes have begun to open. Yet none of the fears you named are from within. What does the flame that flickers mean to you? I feel stuck, powerless. A cage is only as big as you make it. Look inward rather than outward, and you will see that you have no cage around you, only light. Stars fall screaming to the ground. The light shifts and an empire withers. Now an army looks to the heavens and a princess rises. This is your reality if you choose to accept it. When you do, you will find yourself alone upon a mountaintop, connected to all that has come before and all that will be, but a slave to neither. Do you understand me? I think so. Then I will offer you a choice. You can stay here in the world that you are in, seated on the mountaintop, a part of the ebb and flow of the natural world, to live and to die when it is your time, free if you want to be. What is my other choice? You can float up from the mountain to enter a new realm that you have always known existed, but never understood. Something no one has understood, except perhaps in death. Which would you choose? I want to go to a place that I don't understand. I want to feel something stronger, I'd say. I would float up and experience the new realm that you spoke of. First, you must reach the mountain. But when you do, you will find the choice I offered you has already been made. Made by who? What did they decide? Do you know? No. As the world spins, we spin to here. We have had this conviction before. You keep saying that, but I don't remember you. Next time you will. The choice you have been made by many. Some choose the new realm, others do not. Let me show you. Whoa. Wow. Whoa, what is going on? Infinity. Okay. Ooh. Am I awake? Okay. Tahira! Are they here already? They are massing outside the... Whoa! Nice instincts! Scouts well spotted. When did you learn to do that? Stars fall screaming to the ground, light shifts, and an empire withers. Now an army looks to the heavens, and a princess rises. Those are prophetic words to hear. Where did you hear them? I don't. I can't remember. I had a strange dream, Baruti. It was so clear, but now it's gone. Wait, where's Iba? We took him to the other horses, to the top of the town, before we blocked the road. Okay, good. Let's go to the others before the assault begins. Follow me.